Good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I am here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments so that I may answer your questions. So tonight I have a great topic to talk about, and it is getting U.S. citizenship in the United States. What does that process look like, and what are the requirements to obtain U.S. citizenship? But I want to remind you that I am mainly here to take your questions. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter that you don't have questions directly related to, hi there. It doesn't matter that you don't have questions related to this topic tonight. As long as your question is immigration related, I would like to hear from you. Hi there, Adele. It's nice to see you. And Markov Nikov, it's nice to see you too. So put those questions in the comments. So let's talk about citizenship, U.S. citizenship. The first thing I need to tell you, is that it is a good time to apply for U.S. citizenship. And it is a good time because they are really working hard to push immigration applications through quickly. While I can't guarantee that your case will go quickly, I do know that many of my clients so far that are applying for U.S. citizenship it's taking 2 to 6 months. Lately, I have been seeing short processes of 2 months. And so if you would like to get started on your process, definitely call and schedule a consultation first. Let's make sure you qualify and then get started. I apply for your citizenships very quickly, and I also file electronically, which is quick, easy, and an easy process. Now, I am not your attorney. Right now, I'm not giving legal advice, so that's what the consultation is for. And also, just because many of my clients have experienced fast processing times does not necessarily mean that that will happen in your case. Hi, is 49 too old to apply? Thank you. Anna B say, no, absolutely not. It is not too old to apply for U.S. citizenship. You're never too old to apply for U.S. citizenship. Just submitted my asylum papers. So Adele, good luck with that. That's true. My sister just applied and she got it a week ago. It's only 3 months exactly. So as you can see, that is exactly right. It is taking, they're really trying to push those through. So it's a good time. That's the main thing. It's a good time to apply, and I can definitely help you to apply quickly and to make sure that everything is smooth, or to ensure a smoother process. So that's where it's important to schedule that consultation now so we can get started. Obtaining U.S. citizenship is usually the end of your immigration journey. Actually getting the citizenship is usually the pinnacle of your success in the immigration process. Usually, before you can become a U.S. citizen, when you're going through the application process, you must be a permanent resident. So, okay, so Celeste, I didn't ignore your question. I did not see it. So how can we go about citizenship without getting married, work, or school? So citizenship, when you're applying for citizenship, you have to qualify by first being a permanent resident. So are you a permanent resident? I think here you're referring to how can I obtain permanent residence without getting married. Citizenship and permanent residence are two different things. When you obtain permanent residence, you basically get permission to live here for a long time. However, you don't have certain rights that a citizen would have, such as the right to vote. So only citizens can partake in the federal and state elections. And so your question here is, how can I get residence in the United States without getting married, work, or school. So in this case, if you don't have family, if you don't have an employer who's applying for you, and you don't have education, a visa that you're coming for, and keep in mind that going to school here is not going to qualify for you for permanent residence. It's going to qualify you for a student visa. Same with work. It could either be for permanent residence or for on a temporary basis. If none of those fit, then you have to look at what's called the diversity lottery. Well, the question here is, do you qualify for this? The diversity lottery is basically the lottery for the green card, and only certain countries, citizens of certain countries, qualify for this. So if you go to the Department of State's website, you'll be able to see who qualifies for the diversity lottery. Hi, so let's see. Let's see. So Adele, and they have replied me, please tell me what's the next thing I will get. So Adele, you usually get the biometrics appointment to be able to do the background check. And then all being well, you should then be scheduled for an interview. If they accept the application and you qualify and you get that far, then you would get scheduled for an interview. So let's see, how do you go about getting straight even though you have a student visa? So it depends, Bree Sparta. That is a loaded question, just because there are so many ways that you could change your status, become a permanent resident, or fix your status, but it's going to depend on your facts. And so that's where you need to schedule a consultation, because that could take a full hour to talk about. Will I get my immigration bond money back if the case is terminated? So you should. Usually you'll have to request it, or whoever puts the bond up has to submit a request. So certain special documentation, if you go to the ICE website, you should be able to see their procedure to be able to get back the bond money. You're welcome, Celeste. So if you're a student here and you also have a visa, how do I go about to getting straight? So Bree Sparta, I'm not sure. Neither of those are going to qualify you for any other type of status in the United States, and whether you qualify for anything else is going to depend on your facts. So schedule a consultation, because your question is getting into more specific and complex territory. Can a spouse be approved for tenure even though the wife has divorced him? So yes, it is a possibility. So Lauren Ebel, if he applies for VAWA and he applied within 2 years of the divorce, and it's all based on the circumstances in the marriage. So was the spouse mistreated? If the spouse was mistreated, the spouse that's applying was mistreated and abused in the relationship, they can apply for permanent residence on their own. So how long will it take? So if you go to the case processing on your USCIS website, uscis.gov website, go to case processing, look at the service center that's processing your case right now, Adele, and you can see what's the range of time that they're taking. There's no way to tell you a specific time, but you can get more accurate information about the range of time that you can expect in your case by looking at the service center where it's being processed. So keep putting those questions in the comments. I'm talking about US citizenship. And so if the first thing is, if you want to apply for US citizenship, you want to apply on your own, you're gonna have to be 18 or over. Hi there, Chocolate 3185. Nice to see you as always. Now, you have to be 18 or over, and you have to be a permanent resident. So you can't just come here on a visa and then jump straight to citizenship. You have to have permanent residence for a specific amount of time. Generally, it's 5 years, and you can start applying at 4 years and 9 months. However, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, then that's 3 years, within 3 years, and you have to show that you have been married to the U.S. citizen for 3 years. If you are in the military, it could be as short as 1 year. So those are the time requirements to apply. Is you have to be, you can't just be a permanent resident and jump straight to citizenship. You have to be a permanent resident, green card holder for a specific amount of time, 5 years generally. If married to a U.S. citizen, 3 years. If in the military, then that could even go down to a year. Once you have determined you meet these requirements, then the other is, do you have good moral character? That's going to be a major part of the application. So good moral character is basically, there's no specific definition, but it just means based on the standards within your community, are you living like the average person would? And are you meeting the moral standards that the average person would in your community? So that's where, if you have a criminal record, it doesn't necessarily automatically disqualify you. At least don't assume that because you have a criminal history that is going to automatically disqualify you. But it's important to get legal advice, because certain criminal acts can automatically disqualify you and cause you to be barred from citizenship. So it's very important, if you do have issues like this, that you make sure that you schedule a consultation, look into your issue, and get legal representation to make sure that you have an advocate there to make it clear to the officer why you qualify for U.S. citizenship despite the criminal record. So that is one of the indicators. So once they see, that's one of the red flags. Once they see a criminal record, then they're definitely going to have more questions. And there are also, believe it or not, non-criminal circumstances that can lead to a citizenship denial. So I want to tell you more about those, to watch out for those. And if you're experiencing any of these issues, to make sure that you schedule a consultation and get to the bottom of it. Get legal advice before you apply. Now, the reason for the consultation is because, one, none of these complications will necessarily disqualify you, but you can understand how to approach your situation, and you can get representation through it to make sure that you effectively communicate with the officer about the issue and make a good case as to why you should still be qualified for citizenship. So here are some non-criminal circumstances that can actually lead to a denial. So if you've had any past DUIs, or if you've had any problems with alcoholism, habitual drunks or drunkards cannot get citizenship. If you've had delinquent child support, delinquent taxes, that can also be a big problem. Now, when we talk about delinquent child support, the officer is looking at whether evidence that you intentionally bailed out on child support, intentionally became delinquent, because you do have some people who intentionally don't pay. They decide that they're not going to pay. And so in cases like that, it's important to make that clear, that maybe there was a court order that you were not aware of. When can I apply for the right to work and SSN after my asylum papers have received? So if your asylum has been pending, and Adele, I don't know your situation, I don't know your circumstances, and so don't take this as personal legal advice. You must always seek personal legal advice when you would like to understand how to approach your application and you want to take action. Because there are certain circumstances in asylum where you won't qualify for a work permit. So very important that you understand based on your facts. And I don't know you, I'm not your attorney, and I've never spoken to you, so I don't know all your facts. But generally speaking, if your application has been pending for 365 days, then you can go ahead and start on the work permit application. So sure, Markov Nikov, go ahead, ask any immigration related questions, and that includes the diversity DV 2020. So keep those questions coming. I am here to answer your U.S. immigration related questions. So put those questions in the comments. Now, I am also going to be on Instagram at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you would like to continue this conversation, I'm still here and I'm still accepting questions, but I want to let you know ahead of time that if you want to continue this discussion, or I didn't get to your question, you can always hop on over to Instagram. I am the immigration attorney on Instagram. You can go to the link in my bio, or you can you can go directly to Instagram and just type in the immigration attorney, the same username as here. I have the biometrics appointment later this month. What should I expect? So crazy, beautiful. It's usually a very simple, easy, quick, smooth appointment. So it's not going to be an interview in any way. They're not going to ask any questions. They're not going to interview you about your qualifications. Usually you're going to check in. So you check in about 15 minutes before your scheduled time. And when you go in there, make sure you have your ID, a picture ID, government issued picture ID. So like your passport, for example, along with your notice showing that you have the appointment. And then they usually have a sheet of a biometric sheet behind your appointment notice where you have to fill out your name, your information, your biographical information, and then your biometrics information. So your height, weight, hair color, eye color. And then it doesn't even require a signature right now. So you fill that out. When you go in, they're going to direct you to the area where they're going to take the officer is going to call you up, take your fingerprints. They're going to take your notice. They're going to take your biometric sheet. They're going to fingerprint you, take your picture, and then have you sign. And then after that, you should be good to go. These appointments, most of the time, may be spent waiting just to get to the fingerprinting. So it shouldn't take long. It should take about 15 minutes once you get through the initial waiting time. After 6 months in pending asylum, a part of the ASAP, does SSN and EAD come at the same time? So yes, so the SSN and the SSN usually, it doesn't come at the same time in the envelope. The SSN usually follows a few weeks after the EAD. Crazy beautiful, you are welcome. Great question so far. I'm talking about applying for U.S. citizenship, and I want to tell you now is a good time. With my cases, my clients, I'm seeing a processing time of 2 to 6 months, and lately I've been consistently seeing my clients get citizenship within 2 months. So while it is not a guarantee, right, if you become my client, I can't guarantee that a result for a past client is going to be the same for a present client, for a future client. However, I just want to let you know that this is the pattern I'm seeing. And so if you qualify for U.S. citizenship, you could be a citizen within a short period of time. You don't have to be waiting a year or two. So get on it, don't delay, and you can call me to get started. I apply for my client's citizenship very quickly. How long can an asylum member apply for naturalization? So the asylum holder has to have asylum for a year first to become a permanent resident, and then 5 years to apply for citizenship. So they're looking at a 6-year journey to U.S. citizenship. So I am going to head on over to Instagram now. So join me over there where you can continue to ask your questions. I am the immigration attorney on Instagram. You can follow me there and then hop right on and continue asking your questions. Thanks so much for being here tonight. And as usual, I will be here tomorrow around 9 p.m. Eastern time again. So join me on Instagram. If you can't, join me tomorrow. And if you want to get started on U.S. citizenship, I didn't get to finish the entire topic, but I will continue tomorrow on U.S. citizenship, how to apply for U.S. citizenship, what does the process look like, the test, which is a source of major anxiety for many people. So I'm going to talk about what the test is, how do the questions look, how to study for the test, and what does the application process look like. So join me tomorrow to get that information, and I will be continuing the topic of U.S. citizenship on Instagram. So join me there, or I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll speak to you in a consultation where we can get started on your citizenship application. Have a good night.